Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. The world will note that the first atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, a military base. On August 7, 1945, the day after Hiroshima was destroyed, Dr. Yoshio Nishino, a leading Japanese physicist and other atomic scientists, arrived in Hiroshima. To examine the damage, they confirmed that the city had been destroyed by an atomic bomb and reported back to the cabinet in Tokyo. Despite this, the cabinet decided to continue the war, a decision intercepted by American magic code breakers. Meanwhile, President Truman returned from the Potsdam Conference and spoke about the atomic bombing of Hiroshima, describing it as a military base. He later declared, "We shall continue to use it until we completely destroy Japan's power to make war." With no sign of Japan surrendering, the decision was made to attack another city. On August 9, 1945 at 3:47 a.m., the B-29 Superfortress Boxcar, commanded by Major Charles Sweeney, took off from Tinian Island with the Fat Man plutonium bomb on board. The mission plan was almost identical to that of Hiroshima. With two B-29s, including the Enola Gay, flying an hour ahead as weather scouts, Boxcar was accompanied by two observation aircraft, the Great Artiste and Big Stink. The primary target was Kokura, known for its arsenal and military equipment production, with Nagasaki as the secondary target. Sweeney took off with the bomb already armed, but with the electrical safety plugs still engaged. During the pre-flight inspection, the flight engineer told Sweeney that the aircraft had a malfunctioning fuel pump. Replacing the pump would take hours, and worse still, moving the Fat Man to another aircraft might take just as long and was dangerous as well as the bomb was live. Therefore, Tibbets and Sweeney decided to continue the mission with Boxcar. Observers aboard the weather planes reported both targets Kokura and Nagasaki as clear. When Boxcar arrived at the rendezvous point over Yakushima Island, the Great Artiste joined shortly after. However, the Big Stink failed to make the rendezvous because it was flying much higher than it should have been and was not flying tight circles over Yakushima as agreed. Although Boxcar was ordered not to circle longer than 15 minutes, it waited for Big Stink for 40 minutes before leaving the rendezvous point. As commander of the aircraft, Sweeney decided to proceed to the primary target, Kokura. The delay at the rendezvous caused clouds and drifting smoke from fires, started by a major firebombing raid on nearby Yaata the previous day to obscure Kokura. Additionally, the Yaata steelworks intentionally burned coal tar to produce black smoke. The resulting conditions covered 70% of the area over Kokura, obscuring the aiming point. Over the next 50 minutes, 3 bomb runs were made, burning fuel and exposing the aircraft to heavy defenses, but the bombardier could not drop visually. By the third bomb run, Japanese anti-aircraft fire was getting close. With fuel running low due to the failed fuel pump, Boxcar and the Great Artiste headed for their secondary target, Nagasaki. The term Kokura's luck emerged from this mission, highlighting how the city's obscured visibility due to weather and smoke spared it from the atomic bomb. The crew decided that if Nagasaki was obscured on arrival, they would carry the bomb to Okinawa and dispose of it in the ocean if necessary. At about 7:50 a.m. Japanese time, an air raid alert was sounded in Nagasaki, but the all-clear signal was given at 8:30 when only 2 B-29 Superfortresses were sighted at 10:53 a.m. The Japanese assumed the planes were only on reconnaissance, and no further alarm was given. A few minutes later, at 11 a.m. Japanese time, the Great Artiste dropped instruments attached to 3 parachutes. These instruments also contained an unsigned letter to Professor Sagano, a physicist at the University of Tokyo, who had studied with 3 of the scientists responsible for the atomic bomb at the University of California, Berkeley. The letter urged him to tell the public about the dangers of these weapons of mass destruction. At 11:01 a.m., as Boxcar approached Nagasaki, a lucky break in the clouds allowed the bombardier to visually sight the target as ordered. The Fat Man bomb, containing approximately 5 kilograms or 11 pounds of plutonium, was released over the city's industrial valley. It detonated 47 seconds later at 11:02 a.m., approximately 503 meters or 1,650 feet above the ground. The explosion occurred almost directly over a tennis court, halfway between two significant industrial targets, the Mitsubishi Steel and Arms Works in the south.